Apparently, my son Elias presented me with a premium wilderness retreat voucher for my 78th birthday, claiming I merited tranquility after a lifetime of toil. The gesture laced with a forced warmth that didn't quite mask the underlying calculation in his eyes. He insisted it was time for me to unwind amid nature's embrace. But when I returned to the cabin for my departed wife's cherished scarf, I overheard his true scheme, the words slicing through the thin walls like a bitter wind. The voucher was a one-way path to oblivion. He and his wife intended to declare me vanished in the vast backcountry, their voices dripping with greedy anticipation in the dim lamplight. I lingered there unseen in the shadowed corridor of my own dwelling, the musty scent of aged timber heavy in the air, and thought, very well, son, if that's your desire yet, you remain oblivious to the adversary you've provoked, the internal resolve hardening like frost on a winter pane. The grating screech of rusted hinges on the barn door that marked the initial discord, a persistent wail echoing through the crisp rural air, for 4 relentless days gnawing at my patience like an unheeded warning. My name is Harlan Whitaker. I'm 78 years old, a former blacksmith who spent decades forging iron, in the forge's sweltering heat mending what was fractured in a world that often bent under its own weight. My existence revolved around restoration, and that infernal creak beneath my own roof felt like a personal affront, a subtle erosion of the stability I'd hammered into place over years. I knelt on the weathered plank floor of the workshop, my calloused fingers slick with linseed oil, the sharp, earthy aroma mingling with the faint metallic tang of tools long used when they intruded. The side entrance swung wide without prelude, no courteous rap, no casual inquiry, like, "Hey Pa, you around?" Merely the abrupt thud of boots on the creaky boards I'd hewn and laid myself 4 decades prior, the sound reverberating through the dim space, heavy with the oppressive humidity of the Midwest summer. Ugh, what is that odor? That was Lydia, my daughter-in-law, her tone laced with disdain that cut sharper than any blade I'd tempered. I rose deliberately, my right hip, the one reconstructed 8 months earlier after a forge mishap, protesting with a deep throbbing ache that radiated up my spine like a suppressed grudge. "It's finishing oil," I rumbled, my voice a gravelly echo honed by years of commanding apprentices amid the clangor. I pivoted to confront them, the workshop's stale air thick with suspended dust motes dancing in the slanted sunlight filtering through grimy pane. Lydia, fair-skinned and perpetually clad in upscale leisure attire, as though perpetually en route from a salon she seldom visited, hovered in the threshold, wrinkling her nose in exaggerated revulsion. She surveyed my homestead, the structure I'd erected from raw lumber, with my bare hands, as if it were a relic unworthy of her refined sensibilities, her gaze lingering on the oil-streaked tools with thinly veiled contempt. "You're tracking it across the planks," she accused, gesturing at a solitary droplet glistening ominously on the floorboards. "Greetings, Lydia." "Greetings, Elias." My son Elias loomed behind her, fidgeting uneasily. 52 years old and a property appraiser by trade, his crisp charcoal ensemble jarringly out of place amid the workshop's rustic chaos. His posture betraying a subtle discomfort, as if embarrassed by the humble surroundings, the modest farmstead, perhaps even by me, his aging progenitor, whose guts bore the scars of honest labor. "What are you tinkering with, Pa?" he inquired, his glance skittering about, evading the hinge I'd been attending to, the internal tension evident in his averted eyes. "It was protesting," I explained, brandishing the oil tin, the label faded from years of use. Now it's silenced. Lydia emitted a protracted theatrical exhalation, her exasperation hanging in the humid air like unspoken judgment. "You ought to summon a specialist for such tasks, Mr. Whitaker." She invariably addressed me as Mr. Whitaker, never Pa, as though we were bartering over a valuation rather than sharing kin bonds. Her words laced with a subtext of dismissal. Elias advanced, compelling a grin. It was his appraiser's facade, the one that never ascended to his calculating gaze, a practiced veneer masking deeper motives. "I've procured something for you, Pa." I eyed the opulent ivory envelope he proffered, its texture rich and unyielding under my oiled fingertips. "What might this be?" You merit respite. He asserted, his tone overly earnest, the words echoing hollowly in the workshop's confined space. You've labored ceaselessly. I cleansed my grimy palms on a tattered cloth perpetually tucked in my belt loop, a glacial unease settling in my core like the first frost of autumn. Men akin to Elias didn't bestow presents. They executed transactions, their gestures always weighted with ulterior intent. I unsealed the flap, a lavish pamphlet cascading forth. Wilderness Expeditions, 12 Days of Solitude in the Untamed Frontier. The hues, unnaturally vibrant, jubilant adventurers posing against rugged peaks under an impossibly azure sky. A retreat. Aye. Lydia interjected her own beam, equally contrived, a superficial gloss over underlying impatience. A deluxe escapade for you to decompress, revitalize your essence. I positioned the pamphlet on the workbench beside scattered nails and a half-mended latch, the word respite, lingering oppressively in the stagnant air, fraught with insincerity. The antique pendulum clock in the adjoining room, the one my late wife, Alara, had salvaged from a roadside antique stall, punctuated the hush with its rhythmic cadence, tick-tock, tick-tock, a metronome to my existence, steadfast and unyielding. Yet today it resonated like an omen, the mechanism's subtle grind amplifying the room's tension. Respite. Merely the prior week. Last Thursday, Elias had visited Solo, perching at this very workbench where I now stood, his demeanor feigned nonchalance as he gazed out at the overgrown pasture, the fading light casting long shadows across the fields. Pahid intoned, his inflection overly casual, concealing a sharper edge. You're 78 now. Documentation it complicates increasingly. I merely nursed my brew. Your intent, Elias. My intent is, why not endorse this? He advanced a voluminous sheaf across the scarred surface. It's merely a lasting authority delegation, a robust POA. It empowers me to manage the obligations for you land levies utility payments merely to alleviate your concerns. I deposited my mug with a resonant thud in the subdued space. I can manage concerns, Elias, I retorted. I still comprehend check composition. I forged this homestead from bedrock. I reckon I can oversee the utility ledger. His facade wavered. I'm merely aiding Pa. You comprehend should mishap befall. Should mishap befall, I inform my counsel will notify you. No need for your fret. He departed, irked, evident in his rigid carriage. And now a week hence he returned with a retreat, a 12-day sojourn. I regarded him anew. This must have demanded a fortune. Fret not over that, Elias dismissed with a cavalier wave. It's my offering to you, all arranged. Lydia averted gaze, appraising my workshop, measuring it with predatory scrutiny. You know, she remarked not to me but Elias as though I were mere fixture. If we demolished this partition, merged it with the main quarters, it would enhance circulation vastly. We could install a grand quartz slab right there. A scorching, shadowy fury ignited in my thorax. This was Alara's domain. My late wife, she selected every weathered plank herself, declared they evoked warmth amid the chill winters. Demolish it. This bears structural load, I stated flatly, the words heavy with unspoken warning. Lydia merely blinked, undeterred. Oh well, she pivoted back to Elias. Regardless. It demands modernization. Modernization? I echoed the term, tasting bitter. This homestead resides in rural Montana. 4 decades past, when Alara and I constructed it, this was mere agrarian enclave families of mixed heritage claiming their plots. We laid foundations, erected frames. Now it's ascending gentrifying. Affluent outsiders infiltrating, acquiring aged properties, eviscerating them, reselling at quadruple value. Elias as appraiser knew that intimately. This homestead wasn't his sanctuary. It was commodity. It was windfall. So this escapade I articulated my timbre, even turning from Lydia to confront my son. When commences? This Saturday, Elias replied hastily. Today's Wednesday, affords 3 days for preparation. 3 days. It was a spontaneous opportunity, Pa. Had to seize, fret not. I've arranged your transport to Bozeman. A shuttle will collect Saturday morn, convey you direct to the airfield. Another will retrieve and Bozeman escort to the trailhead. Merely pack your kit. He had orchestrated all. It wasn't offering, it was expulsion. I sought the lad I'd instructed in horseshoeing, the lad I'd hoisted on my shoulders. All I discerned was vendor. All right, I conceded, inclining gradually. If you've orchestrated. Splendid Elias clapped once. You'll adore Pa. Aye, I responded, retrieving the cloth. Perhaps I shall. They departed swiftly as arrived. I lingered solo in my workshop. The screech silenced, yet a novel dire siren blared in my cranium. Saturday morn. My valise, a sturdy antique leather grip packed. I lacked much few trouser shirts my grooming set. What packs a man for undesired voyage? My communicator vibrated. Missive from unrecognized digit. Your transport arrives presently. Elias arranged all. I hauled the valise to the entrance. The driver, youthful chap, remained seated. Melody from his rig pulsing sufficiently to vibrate the ground. I placed hand on knob, then halted. I patted coat pockets, purse communicator keys, the scarf. Forgot the scarf. It was aged woolen wrap crimson weave. Ilara's favored. Declared it rendered me dashing as a frontier hero. Never ventured significant sansit. I returned to the transport. The lad lowered pain tune spilling. All set, sir. Be right, I said. Overlooked something. I retraced to the cabin. Inserted key at portal yielded. Unsecured. Elias must retain duplicate. I entered. Cabin hushed. Then I detected. Voice. Lydia's from galley. Not her saccharine Mr. Whitaker tone. This her authentic keen and glacial as hoarfrost. I stood immobile in corridor veiled by stairs gloom. She telephoned. Nay, Elias heed me. She intoned timbre taut with exasperation. I verified the affirmation dispatch. It is one way. Oneway. Pause. I discern my son's faint timbre afar. I disregard what he conveyed, she snapped. The reservation is one-way flight to Bozeman and one-way retreat concluding in remote Yukon outpost. He returns not. My veins iced. Yukon adhere to scheme. Lydia persisted pacing galley. I glimpsed her nape. He's on expedition 12 days. Around day 9 or 10 you contact the outfitters. Claim no contact. You're anxious. By outpost docking and absence declare vanished in wilds. Vanished in wilds. Flawless Elias. Elder 78. Perhaps disoriented. Perhaps tumbled. Such occur perpetually. Post-legal declaration vanished cabinars. Transfer on demise deed filed. Pristine. I immobilized. Breath halted, heart ponderous frigid lump in thorax. Recollection acute nauseating flashed. 8 months prior. Post-hip reconstruction, I lay ward berth dazed from sedatives. Elias there perched bedside, feigning concern. Hey, Pa, he'd murmured softly. Clinic possesses additional forms. Merely routine post-procedure health coverage waivers you comprehend. He proffered clipboard with voluminous sheaf. My vision blurred, son, I'd informed. Can't decipher minutiae. Not Pa. Fret not, he intoned, reassuring. Merely endorse here, initial here. Merely assure coverage encompasses all. I trusted, fatigued, aching, and he my son. I endorsed where indicated, perused not. Oh heavens, what endorsed transfer on demise deed in galley? Lydia exhaled. Look, he's likely in transport now, concluded Elias. Merely patience. I'll meet at bureau. I heard disconnect. Her steps toward corridor. Thoughtless, I moved. Silent as mist, I retreated portal. Drew shut gently unlatching. Returned transport mien composed. Driver still nodded to rhythm. You set? He queried. I opened rear. Entered. Set, I said, timbre level. To airfield. Fury not scorching. Arctic. Pristine glacial lucidity. Reckoning commenced. Transit to regional airfield blurred. Sat rear transport. Montana's rolling plains dissolving like unwatched vista, the overcast sky pressing low with unspoken threats. Driver deposited at departures. I entered amid clamor and glaring lights, the air thick with fuel and hurried footsteps. Found secluded nook, extracted communicator, dispatched missive Elias, cleared checkpoints. Grateful all sun. Adore you. Watched receipt blue, red, fine. Gazed departures panel, gate C7 Bozeman. My conveyance. Pivoted, proceeded contrary. Exited regional terminal into brisk prairie breeze, boarded shuttle to alternate carrier. Approached frontier desk. Sir, this desk for I require voucher. I said today. Now. Woman regarded surprised her uniform crisp against the bustling backdrop. Whither Sir Denver, I said. Denver. Sir Denver flights from regional. I desire this terminal, this carrier. One voucher. Denver, one way. She discerned my gaze's intensity, the unyielding set of my jaw. She argued not. Aye, sir. That'll be $340. Cash. I extracted emergency funds perpetually in boot sole. Funds Alara insisted for genuine crisis Harlan. She'd perpetually said this genuine crisis. Hour hence I perched gate Denver, not Bozeman. Why Denver, Denver, not arbitrary? My brother's offspring, my nephew Theo, resided Denver. Theo astute, not merely astute incisive. He attorney genuine kind contending tribunals, not merely shuffling parchments for appraisals. Elias loathed him. Perpetually declared too clever own good, perpetually meddling others' affairs. He one rang post Elias's visit prior week. Must complained kin. Uncle Harlan he'd intoned serious. Heard Elias soliciting endorse authority delegation. Handled lad I'd informed. Good, 'cause don't endorse aught from him. Not solitary parchment. Here. Not sans my perusal first. Should inform then bout clinic parchments, yet embarrassed. Embarrassed own son. Sat gate. Took primary communicator Elias knew. Ejected SIM with staple. Held minuscule chip. Whole existence discarded trash receptacle. Powered device buried valise depths. Elias desired me vanished 12 days. Fine. Vanished, ghost yet not expedition. An attorney's Denver bureau. When craft touched Stapleton crisp Denver, air jolt. Snapped vigilance. Acquired inexpensive disposable communicator news kiosk. Stood baggage dialed numeral. Answered second ring. This Theo lad, I said. Uncle Harlan. Half-second hush. Uncle Harlan. Wrong supposed retreat. Saw missive Elias. Not retreat, I said timbre, low. At Stapleton Terminal 3, baggage. What? Why? 'Cause Elias procured one way. Lydia plan declare vanished wilds. Narrated all. Overheard discourse. Yukon Authority request coverage parchments endorsed post-reconstruction. Line silence. Not shocked, frigid, rigid, scheming silence. Kind heard studying bar. New day arrive. Theo said timbre abruptly altered. All enterprise, all forged. Knew that scoundrel. I remain precise. Terminal 3 motionless. Coming retrieve. About 25 minutes. Theo, I, and Uncle Harlan. He severed. Converse none else, not soul. Your spectre. Comprehend labor awaits. Disconnected. Stood baggage carousel. 78-year-old airfield, hundreds miles home. Not valise disposable communicator. Thought antiquated. Thought concluded. Thought payday. Gazed reflection terminal's dark pane. All right, Elias murmured. Desired vanished. Vanished. See relish ensues. Theo's loft. 28th floor overlooking peaks. All reflective surfaces, metallic accents, sleek contours, slate furnishings. Not like Montana cabin. World Elias aspired inhabit. My nephew Theo constructed self. Handed black brew mug. Potent. Needed. Day 3 retreat. Per Elias's scheme, probably remote Yukon now savoring herbal infusion under starry vault. Instead, Theo's galley table sensing mountain chill radiate pain. Aye, Theo said. Work garb crisp ebony ensemble. Recount again. Uncle Harlan precisely clinic occurrence. Drew scalding brew. Recollection hazy, shameful. Right post-hip reconstruction, I said timbre low. Recovery chamber still dazed sedatives. Attendant just vitaled. Theo listened, gaze fixed, not judging, amassing intel. Elias entered. I proceeded. Seemed anxious. Said clinic additional forms. Routine post-procedure coverage forms. Assure plan encompassed reconstruction. Endorsed, not query. Proffered clipboard voluminous parchments. My vision blurred. Informed can't decipher minutiae. Can't even focus. What uttered Syed? Fret not. Pa. Not. Endorse here, here. Reassuring, helpful. Glanced palms. Palms forged homestead not. He's offspring lad. Fatigued, aching, endorsed. Endorsed where indicated. Perused not. Theo silent prolonged. Arose approached satchel. Extracted sleek graphite portable. Omitted. You shouldn't omitted. How could? Merely seated unveiled portable digits commenced dance. Clack keen exact. All right, Uncle Harlan, in tone timbre glacial forged. C, precisely endorsed. C, enacted. Heart commenced pound. This it. Doing property. Chronicles public explained gaze scanning display. Montana County Assessor Clerk. All digital, filed Ott Homestead linked there. Navigated duo trio governmental portals, inputting credentials. Velocities practiced. In County Public Chronicle Hunt murmured. Glanced. Full address, Montana informed. Input. I now name. Input Harlan. Whitaker. Whitaker. Digit hovered enter. Deep inhalation. Proceed. Clicked. Azure swirl commenced spin screen loading, probing. Felt longest minute existence. Watch swirl, felt whole life, all built spinning alongside. Come, come, Theo whispered display. Then ceased. Document list materialized. Line digital dossiers, dates, juridical codes. Theo's gaze scanned swift, then halted, stared screen, uttered not. What said? Inclining. Theo, what answered not. Merely elevated palm directed monitor. One whispered, Oh, Uncle Harlan, already enacted. Leaned heart hammering ribs. What Theo? What answered not immediate. Clicked initial link. Digital duplicate document filled screen. Scroll down, breath catching. Here finally said timbre barely whisper. Directed page apex, title bold, large. Lasting authority delegation. Stomach plummeted. That solicited weak prior parchment refused endorse. Needed not refuse Uncle Harlan. Theo said timbre hardening. Needed different chance. Directed database page. See execution date, 8 months prior. 8 months. Did math head. That's day post hip reconstruction? Exactly. Said, scrolled final page. Signature. Shaky, barely legible trailing end. That signature asked though new answer. Knotted shame, burning throat. Handshaking. From medicine. Couldn't hold pen right. Elias had C's. He held hand, aided endorse, said merely wouldn't fret coverage. Theo emitted sound mix gasp curse. Didn't just acquire authority delegation Uncle Harlan. Acquired lasting. No means shook head feeling ill, means effective immediately. Explained word sharp precise surgeon's blade. Required not incapacitated. Means second endorsed paper legal right. Anything name vend, conveyance access ledgers liquidate holdings, heavens aid medical decisions. Complete total control had 8 months. Stared own signature 1, own son guided. Hadn't steadied hand, forced, coverage forms lie guys. Real document buried medical jargon, knew too ill trusting read. Felt ill. So he possesses funds. Theo scrolled chronicle list. Visage pale. Fear worse. Uncle Harlan, funds. Merely appetizer. Worse. How worse? Handshaking fractionally directed next line list right below authority delegation. This said filed exact day, probably same hour. Clicked link. Another document loaded. Transfer demise. What? Leaned closer. Transfer demise. Means. Theo gazed screen first real frigid dread nephew's eyes. Legal instrument. Uncle Harlan. Common recent years, folk use avoid probate tribunal. Efficient. Efficient. Halmeen said, speaking slowly, deliberately. Moment legal demise certificate issued or case judicial demise. Declaration property listed deed transfers immediately named beneficiary. No testament, no probate, no delays. Bypasses entire legal process. Automatic light switch. Mouth dried. Beneficiary. Theo said not. Scrolled section deed titled beneficiary. Sole name, sole beneficiary, Elias M. Whitaker. Stared son's name, transfer demise. Suddenly all clicked. Retreat. One-way voucher. Yukon. Lydia's voice phone. Declare. Vanished wilds. Blood, not just cold. Stopped. Wasn't plan steal cabin. Plan execute legally. He's going to declare dead whispered. Theo nodded, eyes dark. Sends retreat one-way voucher. Waits week. Contacts outfitters hysterical. Can't reach sire. Contacts rangers. My elderly sire. So excited. Perhaps disoriented. Perhaps tumbled. Words echoed Lydia's. Elder. Perhaps tumbled. Such perpetually. They'll probe. Theo continued timbre, low, furious monotone. Won't locate. Not expedition. Not Yukon. Spectre. After time vanished wilds. Elias loving offspring possesses lasting authority. Delegation petitions judge declares legally dead. And cabin. Second judge's decree filed county clerk Theo said, striking glass table fist. Instant declaration filed transfer demise deed activates. Cabin. Your cabin? Alara's cabin automatically his pristine simple. None contest. Testament matters not. Me not. Designed bypass folk like me. Finally comprehended. One-way Yukon not cruel. Critical legal strategy. Rendered disappear remote territory afar home, rendering vanished wild's tale airtight. This meticulous, Theo whispered, arising portable. Not spur moment offense Uncle Harlan. Elder fraud elevated. Kind planned months designed legally flawless. Was 78-year-old man airport hundreds miles home, not valise disposable communicator. Thought antiquated. Thought concluded. Thought payday. Gazed reflection terminals dark pain. All right, Elias murmured. Desired vanished, vanished. See relish ensues. Theo's loft 28th floor overlooking peaks. All reflective surfaces, metallic accents, sleek contours, slate furnishings. Not like Montana cabin. World Elias aspired inhabit. My nephew Theo constructed self, handed black brew mug, potent, needed. Day 3, retreat. Per Elias's scheme, probably remote Yukon now savoring herbal infusion under starry vault. Instead, Theo's galley table sensing mountain chill, radiate pain. Aye, Theo said. Work garb crisp ebony ensemble. Recount again, Uncle Harlan precisely. Clinic occurrence. Drew scalding brew. Recollection, hazy, shameful. Right post hip reconstruction, I said timbre low. Recovery chamber still dazed sedatives. Attendant just vitaled. Theo listened, gaze fixed, not judging, amassing intel. Elias entered. I proceeded. Seemed anxious. Said clinic additional forms. Routine post-procedure coverage forms assure plan encompassed reconstruction. Endorsed not query. Proffered clipboard voluminous parchments. My vision blurred. Informed can't decipher minutiae. Can't even focus. What uttered said, fret not pa. Not. Endorse here, here. Reassuring helpful. Glanced palms, palms forged homestead not. He's offspring lad. Fatigued. Aching, endorsed, endorsed where indicated. Perused not. Theo silent prolonged. Arose approach satchel. Extracted sleek graphite portable. Omitted. You shouldn't omitted. How could? Merely seated, unveiled portable digits commence dance. Clack keen exact. All right. Uncle Harlan intoned timbre glacial forged. See, precisely endorsed. C. Enacted. Heart commenced pound. This it. Doing Property Chronicles public explained gaze scanning display. Montana County Assessor Clerk. All digital. Filed Ott Homestead linked there. Navigated Duo Trio governmental portals inputting credentials velocities practiced. In County Public Chronicle Hunt murmured. Glanced. Full address, Montana informed. Input. I now name. Input Harlan. Whitaker, Whitaker. Digit hovered enter. Deep inhalation. Proceed. Clicked. Azure Swirl commenced spin screen loading, probing. Felt longest minute existence. Watched swirl, felt whole life, all built spinning alongside. Come, come. Theo whispered display. Then ceased. Document list materialized. Line digital dossiers dates juridical codes. Theo's gaze scanned swift, then halted, stared screen, uttered not. What said, inclining. Theo, what answered not. Merely elevated palm directed monitor. Oh nay whispered. Oh Uncle Harlan, already enacted, leaned heart hammering ribs. What Theo? What answered not immediate. Clicked initial link. Digital duplicate document filled screen. Scrolled down, breath catching. Here finally said timbre, barely whisper. Directed page apex. Title bold large, lasting authority. Delegation. Stomach plummeted. That solicited week prior. Parchment refused endorse, needed not refuse. Uncle Harlan Theo said timbre hardening, needed different chance, directed date base page. C. Execution date. 8 months prior. 8 months. Did math head. That's day post hip reconstruction. Exactly. Said. Scrolled final page, signature, shaky barely legible trailing end. That signature asked though new answer. Knotted shame, burning throat. Hand shaking. From medicine. Couldn't hold pen right. Elias had ceased. He held hand, aided endorse, said merely wouldn't fret coverage. Theo emitted sound mix, gasp, curse. Didn't just acquire authority delegation, Uncle Harlan. Acquired lasting. No means shook head feeling ill. Means effective immediately. Explained word sharp, precise surgeon's blade. Required not incapacitated. Means second, endorse paper legal right. Anything. Name vend, conveyance, access, ledgers. Liquidate holdings, heavens, aid medical decisions. Complete total control had 8 months. Stared own signature 1. Own son guided. Hadn't steadied hand. Forced. Coverage forms lie guise. Real document buried medical jargon knew too ill. Trusting Reed felt ill. So he possesses funds. Theo scrolled chronicle list, visage pale. Fear worse. Uncle Harlan, funds merely appetizer. Worse. How worse? Hand shaking fractionally directed next line list right below authority delegation. This said filed exact day, probably same hour. Clicked link. Another document loaded. Transfer demise. What? Leaned closer. Transfer demise means. Theo gazed screen first, real frigid dread, nephew's eyes. Legal instrument. Uncle Harlan. Common recent years. Folk use avoid probate tribunal. Efficient. Efficient. Halmean said, speaking slowly, deliberately, moment legal demise certificate issued or case judicial demise declaration property listed deed transfers immediately named beneficiary. No testament, no probate, no delays. Bypasses entire legal process. Automatic light switch. Mouth dried. Beneficiary. Theo said not. Scrolled section deed titled beneficiary. Sole name, sole beneficiary, Elias M. Whitaker. Stared son's name. Transfer demise. Suddenly all clicked. Retreat. One-way voucher. Yukon. Lydia's voice phone. Declare vanished wilds. Blood not just cold. Stopped. Wasn't planned steel cabin. Plan execute legally. He's going declare dead. Whispered. Theo nodded, eyes dark. Sends retreat one-way voucher. Waits week. Contacts outfitters, hysterical. Can't reach sire. Contacts rangers. My elderly sire. So excited. Perhaps disoriented. Perhaps tumbled. Words echoed Lydia's. Elder. Perhaps tumbled. Such perpetually. They'll probe. Theo continued timbre low, furious monotone. Won't locate. Not expedition. Not Yukon. Spectre. After time vanished, Wild's Elias-loving offspring possesses lasting authority. Delegation petitions, judge declares legally dead. And cabin. Second judge's decree filed county clerk Theo said striking glass table fist. Instant declaration filed transfer demise deed activates. Cabin. Your cabin. Alara's cabin automatically, his pristine simple. None contest, testament matters not, me not. Designed bypass folk like me. Finally comprehended. One-way Yukon, not cruel. Critical legal strategy. Rendered disappear remote territory, a far home, rendering vanished Wild's tale airtight. This meticulous? Theo whispered, arising portable. Not spur moment offense, Uncle Harlan. Elder fraud elevated. Kind planned months designed legally flawless. Day 5, retreat. Supposed Yukon depths perhaps foraging berries or contemplating vistas. Instead, Theo's galley table imbibing third brew, scrutinizing ledger he'd compiled. Tracing every ledger, every plastic, every asset potential, all authority delegation linked. Need no enacting now, Uncle Harlan said. Possess POA. Think your trail midst nowhere, feel secure. Sloppy ensue. Mean asked, mean wait not said. Folk thus haughty. Deem superior all. Not merely lounge 12 days. Then portable table open amided keen chime, missive. Theo glanced, gaze tapered. Speak fiend muttered. What? Theo idle not. Day 1, post documents unearthed, hired local vigilance firm, Montana, small discreet outfit. Not engage Uncle Harlan, explained merely eyes, property drive-by, safeguard check twice daily. Morn eve, see aught amiss. What were you told them, elderly client excursion concerned? Nephew merely assure cabin secure. Now clicked missive, from vigilance firm. Header, 2 words, urgent estate activity. Theo say, answered not. Reading mean, tightening, tightening. Read aloud timbre, flat, rage suppressed. To Mr. Theo Whitaker, per request, agent conducted drive-by residence 9:47 a.m. morn. Need inform significant activity property. Activity arose. Says white cargo rig parked drive. Rig side marked heritage clearance services. Gripped chairback fall prevent. Heritage clearance. Day 5. Not vanished yet. Supposed lost wilds another 4 or 5 days. Waited not. Common decency pretend dead ere life curb tossed. Arrogance and dignity. Eviscerating cabin home, Alara's home. Broad daylight. Not thieves merely. Scavengers. Confident vanished certain drifting Yukon depths bothered not conceal. Scorching black fury, colder deeper, ever felt filled thorax. Theo said timbre barely growl. Ring Mrs. Patterson. Who neighbor opposite? Mrs. Patterson. Sees all. Ring now. Fetch communicator. Use visual. Theo hesitated. Not. Extracted disposable communicator. Used all Montana affairs. Pulled numeral contacts. Mrs. Patterson said timbre instantly altering. Warm, amicable tad, anxious. Hi, Theo Whitaker. Harlan Whitaker's nephew. How faring today? Watched marveling composure. Performance and acting. Oh, fine, grateful. Listen, strange request, sorry bother. Calling Denver. Uncle Harlan, that retreat son dispatched. Aye. Isn't lovely. But Rangbit panic, terrible feeling. No he. Thinks left forge, bellows on. Paused listening. Oh, saw depart yesterday morn. Well convinced, left valve open low. On trail can't ring, asked me. Possess key course. Denver. Wondered no spare. Could possibly nip over check. Sleep much better, know he too. Another pause. Will. Oh, bless Mrs. Patterson. Lifesaver. I galley forge. Assure all valves sealed off. Grateful. Grateful. Could stay line whilst walk over. Tell him right away, waiting. Call Theo hit speaker. Placed communicator table. Heard Mrs. Patterson's entrance opening. Montana birds distant. Walking over now, dear, heard say, Lord man forget own head unscrewed. Oh, peculiar. What Mrs. Patterson? Theo asked timbre still light. There's large white rig drive, Heritage Clearance Services front portal wide. Oh, goodness. Perhaps hired maintainers. I think not, Theo said, timbre tightening. What? See, on walkway. Mrs. Patterson said, timbre getting shaky. Oh, Lord heavens. Mrs. Patterson. What? Switch visual call, Mrs. Patterson. Theo commanded timbre, suddenly keen razor. Need see what you see now. Fumbling sound beep. Mrs. Patterson's face filled screen. Older woman, mixed heritage hair, pinned eyes, wide, shock confusion. Theo, see me, dear, see? Flip camera, Theo. Theo ordered. Show cabin. Image inverted, world tilted. Camera shaky, but saw all. Front meadow. My prized bluegrass trampled. On it life. My workbench lantern crate, old forging hammers. Stack memory tomes tossed grass like refuse. Oh, goodness. Mrs. Patterson whispering timbre, trembling. That's easy chair camera. Focused. Aged leather recliner, faded tan. Breath hitched thorax. Couldn't breathe. Chair. Not merely chair. 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 Elora hauled from barn sale, proud find. Chair read tales, Elias Littleboy. Chair sat night-night clasping Elora's hand whilst ailment devoured. Chair perished. Past that chair, arms gazing window meadow adored. Couldn't relocate. Couldn't even occupy. Holy sight. Last her fragment. Now watched two strangers haul across meadow. Lydia saw. Saw her clear day visual feed. Walked over wrinkled nose, kicked side. Merely scrap it. Heard faint voice say, rid that grimy thing. One all gone by 4. Grimy called grimy. Made no sound. Stood watching life love history hauled as scrap. Theo looked me. Mien mask cold pure wrath. Mrs. Patterson. Theo said timbre terrifyingly calm. Keep recording. Clear shot Riggs plate. Clear shot Lydia's face. Then home secure portal word none. We handle. But his things. Just do, please. Theo said, we control. Call terminated. Placed hand Theo's chair. Keep falling. Felt coldness spread entire body. Not grief. Not sorrow. Else harder. Feeling iron hardening forge. They're not merely robbing, Theo said timbre so low, almost whisper. Trying erase her. Glance nephew. Last old Harlan, heartbroken, confused elder, perished moment. Find way said. Find way reclaim all. Day 9, retreat. Supposed remote outpost, perhaps stargazing or reflecting solitude. Instead, Theo's galley table, empty brew mug. Day 9. Visual call. Mrs. Patterson showing wife's easy chair tossed meadow altered me. Shock gone. Grief gone. Left cold, hard stillness. Theo said post-call that rig heritage clearance costs funds. Elias frugal. Whence cash hire? Whence Lydia confidence? Theo's eyes met. Wright said, authority delegation. Wait not use. Already used. Clearing cabin cause think already theirs. Turned portable. Moving swift Uncle Harlan means we swifter. Spent hour navigating secure portals. Possessed credential protected ledger, all major credit overseers. Input social security. This soft probe explained. Won't alert. Shows all. New screen-loaded long list plastics, old land debt, paid 11 years prior. Something fresh. Theo very, very still. What, said voice already. New entry said timbre tight. Hard probe 5 days prior day. Departed Uncle Harlan. Probe what new? Borrowing whispered. Own bank Frontier Trust. Borrowing. Blood cold against cabin. Cabin own outright. I. Used authority delegation. Entered bank proved you paper borrowed equity built. Cabin cleared. This market that developing enclave cabin worth $900,000. Said number tasting ash. Lease Theo directed screen. Just borrowed $175,000 against. Grip table. $175,000. When Theo clicked again, mean grim. Borrowing approved 3 days prior. Funds dispersed yesterday. Finally comprehended. Heritage Clearance Service. Lydia's confidence. Not merely planning acquire cabin declared dead. Cashing now. Arrogant certain on trail bothered not wait live high. Crossed line, forged, lied. Stealing actively, leverage needed. Looked Theo. Expected panic, expected dread. Instead saw smile. Coldest, most perilous smile ever seen. Lawyer's smile. This whispered, this asked, this him triumphing. Nay, Uncle Harlan said, leaning back chair, finally looking away screen meet eyes. This him forfeiting, mistake, big one. Arrogant, covetous folk perpetually make. Get sloppy. Been defense reacting did 8 months prior. Authority delegation demise transfer old news. This equity line active, now. So summon law said hands clenched. Report deceit. Nay, Theo ceased pacing. Nay, summon not local enforcers, deceit case. Buried forms. He said she said kin dispute. Tell acquire civil counsel. Time perhaps assign investigator Elias move funds declared vanished halfway. Canada Lydia. So do Theo picked communicator. Summon not local enforcers. Uncle Harlan. Summon heavy artillery. Summon folk care not kin disputes. Summon folk care solely funds. Dialed. Going summon IRS. IRS confused. Revenue collectors. What pertains taxes? All. Theo said, eyes illuminating. Just acquired $175,000. Declared income. Nay. Paying taxes. Course not. Stole. Unreported income illegal source. Not even best. Walked back portable. Used fraudulent authority delegation secure bank borrowing. Not tax avoidance, Uncle Harlan. Bank deceit. Federal offense. Kind offense garners federal prosecutor's attention. Kind offense freezes holdings immediately. Nodded. Plan good. Solid. His plan. Now my turn. One thing said. Theo arched brow. What Uncle Harlan timing said. When Ms. Vasquez file. When move soon possible, Theo said. Tomorrow, day after. Possess him. Uncle Harlan. Should strike now. Shook head slowly. Nay said. Nay. Mean nay Uncle Harlan spending your funds. In your cabin. Permit said timbre low. Permit paint walls. Permit order new quartz slabs. Permit feel comfortable. Permit feel triumphed. Don't comprehend, Theo said frustrated. Want wait said meeting gaze. Been specters, shadows. Want them standing bright shining light victory. Wait until when? Looked calendar wall. Today day 9. Retreat said. When officially concludes day 12, Yukon outpost but vanished. Expect not. Good. Said. We wait day 13. Day post retreat supposed over. Day probably uncorking effervescent. Day preparing ring enforcers, dawn sad morning visages report lost wilds. Theo's eyes widened, comprehended. Want, there, said coldness settling deep bones. Want traverse own entrance. Want see. Look faces, look his face. When ghost thought made walks back chamber, arose walked pain gazing Denver lights. Tell Miss Vasquez none files, none rings, none enacts aught until day 13. Going home. Day 13. Day post-retreat suppose conclude Yukon. Day officially absent. Day sun probably lifting receiver initiate alarm commence lifetime's performance. Took transport from regional airfield. Driver attempted chatter. Merely nodded, eyes fixed Montana vistas passing rolling hills under overcast sky pressing low. Pulled curb. Here, sir. Paid cash last Denver funds. Exited. Stood walkway gazing own cabin. Looked wrong. Drape's great room gone. Even street smelled. Keen chemical odor. Fresh coat. Walked pathway, one laid stone. 1984. Hand steady reached pocket, hidden key, needed not. Portal unsecured. Heard voices inside. Mirth. Lydia's mirth high keen. Elias's low complacent snicker. Another man's timbre unrecognized. Placed hand portal pushed open crack. Great room. Gray. Cold, barren, lifeless gray. Waiting chambers hue. Hue Lydia perpetually desired. Galley. My galley. Alara's galley. Elias leaned counter holding effervescent flute. Half-empty vessel sat where brewpot used. Lydia stood beside man-collared shirt builder. All gazing partition galley great room, load-bearing partition. So certain can demolish Lydia saying, sipping own vessel. Want clear vista. Want cascading slab. 12 feet long, all quartz. No issue, ma'am, builder said tapping pad. Need install reinforced girder carry load, but definitely open hole. Completely alter space. Contemporize. Precisely, Lydia said giddy. This 60s relic must go. Whatever covet dear Elias said, elevating vessel her. Looked relaxed. Looked content. Looked man just acquired fortune. When commence, Elias asked. Well, builder said, soon permit clears. Course soon ownership matter settled. Said council handling declaration. Elias waved dismissing. Forms mere protocol. Point Pa wouldn't wanted wait. Wanted us content. Said sans sorrow trace. Business merely. Heard sufficient. Deep breath. Gripped brim old wool cap hand. Alara's favored. Pushed portal wide. Made no sound. Entered corridor. Merely stood. Builder first see. Facing hall maw opened. Ceased talking. Pad slipped hand clattering floor. What Lydia said annoyed. Wrong with turned. Effervescent flute fell. Shattered tiles splashing effervescent glass everywhere. Made sound high-pitched strangling noise dying beast. Contractor wall looked faint. Elias turned last. Hell your prob. Words died throat. Face. Never forget face. Not shock. Not confusion. Impossible. Face man seen non-existent. Skin tan pale ashy gray single second. Flute dropped not. Opened hand dropped. Thudding newly coated floor leaving effervescent puddle. None spoke. Soul sound Alara's old pendulum clock ticking tick-tock tick-tock. Uttered not. Merely stood midst newly gray great room. Wore exact clothes left retreat. Old trousers, worn coat, hand holding Alara's old crimson scarf. Merely stood. Spectre problem man supposed Yukon depth. Merely stared, sun waited. Elias stood frozen. Maw open. Flute effervescent one slipped hand. Hit floor thudded rolling newly painted gray wood leaving dark wet trail. Look not even. Brenda one made sound. Scream not loud. High thin whistling sound air forced punctured tire. Knees buckled. Grab new counter edge hold up. Face flushed excitement now waxy pale white. Contractor's pad clattered floor forgotten. No whispered eyes locked me. No can't. You're not. Looked like thing climbed grave. My son Elias. Finally made sound. Not voice. Strangled croak. Pa stammered. My son smooth talker appraiser sell blizzard ice. Couldn't form word. How here hand shaking violently gestured me door. The retreat escapade not your supposed... He stopped. Couldn't say. Couldn't say vanished. Couldn't say Yukon base. Couldn't say declared dead. Moved not inch. Merely stood granite block. Forced laugh died air 2 feet away. Let arms drop awkwardly. Back early, repeated grasping lie voice, louder, desperate. Ruined surprise. Surprise, said timbre flat. I surprise, said, waving hand, empty, newly painted gray room. Lydia, I wanted something nice gone. Renovating whole home overhaul. Getting old place updated you. Gift. Lydia seeing new lifeline grabbed. I, Harlan. Mr. Whitaker. All surprise, just starting. Go and get all new furnishings too. Other stuff so old. Surprise repeated, nodding slowly. His surprise said, looked room new, gray walls, floor wife's easy chair you sit, painting great room jail cell hue, discarding mother's things. That real surprise. Elias's face faltered. Pa old junk. Replacing. But biggest surprise son. Cut off voice dropping. Took one more step, right new, counterfeit his face. Looked dead eyes. Biggest surprise said, voice low, $175,000 borrowing took cabin. Name while gone. Elias's forced smile evaporated. Word borrowing hit physical blow. Stumbled back, step eyes wide, new different terror. Not shock seeing ghost. Cold sudden fear man caught. I don't know. Talking stammered. Lie weak, pathetic. Lopa using own money, surprise. My money. Said voice ice, my cabin, my equity. Now listen here. Lydia suddenly shrieked, finding voice. Fear replaced white-hot, vicious rage. Lunged Elias, not hug hit, fist hammered chest, expensive tailored ensemble. You stupid, stupid fool, shrieked voice raw. Told perfect, told handled all, told gone. You. She hit again hard. Not going prison, you, not. Elias took blows, stunned to fen. Lydia spun away, turned me eyes wild, pointed trembling finger, Elias. Him, all him. I didn't know. Thought helping. One-way voucher, his idea. Bank borrowing, told investment, didn't know stole. Him Harlan, all him. Tell him, pathetic. Two perfect conspiring duo, now two rats trapped turning each. Ms. Vasquez let loud theatrical sigh, cutting Lydia's hysterics. That said conversation, respective criminal defense counsels, each charged. Looked both. Now two choices make one today. Elevated one finger, option one. Proceed. Prosecutor's office get file. Revenue Service open probe. Both arrested. Charged multiple felonies, given evidence one way, voucher web probes bank deceit. Both convicted. Lose all go federal prison. Future, pristine. Simple. Elevated second finger. Option two. Heed client civil accord offer. Accept now sans negotiation, advise client inform prosecutor revenue service while still civilly liable, prefer handle kin. Elias's head snapped glimmer hope. Kin. Mistake client's generosity. Weakness. Ms. Vasquez said, voice forged. Offering way avoid prison. Not offering forgiveness. Extracted one last parchment satchel. Here offer. Non-negotiable. Read page. 1U. Elias Whitaker signed document full, legal, irrevocable renunciation. Any, all claims Mr. Harlan Whitaker's estate. Relinquish all inheritance rights now forever. Get not. Elias nodded numb. 2. Both jointly responsible, repaying $175,000 fraudulently obtained. Today, liquidate own reserves, holdings, conveyance, whatever, make bank whole. Also reimburse Mr. Whitaker all legal fees, including own those attorney Denver, Mr. Theo Whitaker. Broke not default. Lydia emitted sob. We don't possess. Then better choose option one. Ms. Vasquez said, blinking not. And finally 3U. Lydia Whitaker. Subject permanent restraint order. Come not within 500 yards Mr. Harlan Whitaker property ever. Call message. Even think violation arrested. Ms. Vasquez placed parchment. That offer. Avoid prison, lose all trying, steal then some. No choice really. Ruin not prisoners, not yet. They endorsed. Aftermath exactly expect. Logic broke. Drained every cent condo mortgage, Lydia's conveyance, empty pension ledgers, merely repay bank legal fees. Left not. Moment funds transferred, Lydia gone. Filed dissolution. Elias, very next day, cited irreconcilable divergences. Sure did. And Elias vocation over. Ms. Vasquez's civil grievance, public chronicle detailed bank deceit, state appraisal board wind, opened own probe. License suspended, then permanently revoked. Man one step stealing $900,000 cabin, now unemployed, uninsurable, residing cheap lease quarters all alone. Not exactly tried, leave me. Week hence sitting great room. Empty. All gone. Old things discarded, Lydia. New things like stools, builder's supplies, repossessed, never paid. All left fresh, cold gray coat odor. Hue Lydia chose. Storm cloud hue. Hate. Paint over. No haste. First time, long time, no haste. All. New communicator. Theo bought rings floor beside. Unknown digit, know who. Pick. Utter not. Wait. Pa. Voice thin, broken. Desperate child's voice. Pa, please. I'm sorry. So sorry, Pa. I not. Lydia gone. Took conveyance my license. Suspended. Can't labor. Pa, I no funds. Can't even pay lease. Please. Crying now, sobbing. Deep racking pathetic sounds. Asking funds. Close eyes. Listen sound, son. Only child beseeching other end line. Remember little boy, remember teaching shoe, first horse, right meadow, fell scraped knee, cried just this. Then remember man stood this galley smiling while sending one-way Yukon. Man tried a race, boy gone. Only man left. Son say. Voice perfectly calm, perfectly steady. Wanted rest, wanted relax, pause, take slow, quiet breath. Now resting. Wait, not reply. Press end call button. Then go communicator settings. Find number. Block. Done. Look around empty, ugly gray room. Lost son. No. Cold, hard fact. But stand here quiet, realize kept. Kept home. Cabin Alara. I built own hands. Kept dignity. Kept self. Pick communicator one last time. Dial different number trust. Answers first ring. Theo. Hey, lad. Uncle Harlan. I done. Quiet. Listen, when get time think, could drive down here Montana. I need help painting this great room. Thinking that warm ochre hue your Aunt Elara loved so much. Think that would look much, much better. Whole ordeal taught painful, vital lesson. Learned, blind trust, even own kin weapon used against. Years confused silence, peace. But true peace, not avoiding conflict, comes facing truth no matter ugly. Learned value, not just give children respect, must demand self. Sometimes only way protect life built. Stop being loving. Old man, start being man, built it. What would done my situation, and believe made right choice? Tell thoughts. Comments below.